Blessed love, this is Rashala representing for the Lion Voice, seeing? Yeah, man, keep it locked right there, sir. On to Zion we go. Lion Voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right there, sir, seeing? Rashala said that. Lion's Voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like Ital. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Donyell, and I young scientist. Your role universally unfold. Be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Racindio out of Belize. And the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Racindio, say that, blazing fire, lion boy.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the Lion's Voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari live it. Hey, the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Trent of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Yeah, the Lion's Voice. Raw.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice.
Food that nourishes the body.
Ital Food Festival, Sunday, March 15, 2026.
This is Ital, a delicious celebration of plant-powered foods, conscious living, and shared wisdom.
Local artisans, marketplace, cultural performances, and fun for the whole family.
From 12 noon at the President's Ground, St. Anne's.
Ital
Food Festival, Sunday, March 15th,
2026.
Ital is vital. Vital, vital.
Yeah. Rastafari. Emperor Selassie the first. Tell the people about Empress Donyell. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love, and even when the people start war, time. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. That light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start mal, but they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me now but think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people. Maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Zero Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chasmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Voice Live. Welcome to Lion Voice Live and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lion and the lionesses, when we say lions, we always include lionesses, are telling our own story. This is Women's History Month, all sistering, all month. If you have not been checking out the programming, go forward. Some powerful voices of the sistering. We are culminating with our Empress Menen panel, April 3rd. Stay tuned for that. Also, we have a special exclusive with an artist that's coming. We're going to get ready to announce that and drop that. So stay tuned. Big things happening for the network this month. But today, family, we find ourselves in the midst of World War III. Gas prices, ones may start to feel it when they pull up to the pump and you see that your wallet is hurting a little bit more. This is only going to increase in the coming days, the coming strong. The Lion Pride knows that we have been talking about this on this channel for some time, over a year. We have the receipts. You can go forward into our past episodes, and I'm not talking about general. We said that when Trump was elected, go and watch that episode. We said that the invasion of Iran was coming, the Straits of Hormuz would be closed. We said these things, you know what I mean? And big up all of the ones that I'm starting to get some phone calls, one saying, yes, Ras, me remember when I was saying these things. And it's not because we are prophets outside of just being aligned with the divine. Is because we listen to our ancients, we listen, we studied the prophecy as it was written in the Bible. We study other books, other knowledge. We don't limit ourselves to the Bible, but we, are students, and most importantly, we look at the teachings of His Imperial Majesty and we apply them. So we knew that this was coming. This is all culminating to the building of the third temple. They're going to destroy the Alas Mosque in Jerusalem to build the third temple of Solomon. So stay tuned for that. They'll probably blame it on Iran. This will kick off the global holy war. You're going to see a unification of the Shia and the Sunni, one bag of thing against the colonial empire of Rome. So this is the scorecard for the coming months and years. We're going to watch it unfold. But the question is, what are you doing? What is the I doing during all of this? Are you sitting with a bag of popcorn and feeling like nothing can touch you? Or are you preparing? For some people, we have been called home. You know what I mean? We've been called home. And this has been written. This was written in ancient scrolls, parchment on animal skins by brethren out in the wilderness, seeing these times. Some would return that, a people would be scattered to the four corners, and after a certain time, those people would return unto their home. They would, repent. They would sing praises unto the Almighty, recognize the Almighty, and they would return home in their numbers. We're witnessing this in real time. And today, our guest is someone who has received the call and who has acted on the call with our Kingman doing some powerful work in Ghana. We're going to find out about Ghana. But the thing that I love about this guest is that she has a financial background. So we can have that financial conversation or conversation today, where we can really get into the economics of repatriation. What does it look like? Multiple streams of income. We hear the buzzwords, but what can that look like? And what are the realities? What are some of the expenses? You know what I mean? This is not a fantasy where we're going to Zion, sit up and rest a little while, and we're gonna shake our hand with the elders, tell all the children good morning. We're gonna do all of them things there, but you still have to eat, you still have to go to the market, your solar panel broke down, what you going to do for fix it? You have to call a man to come to your house and fix it. A man thief the thing on, you pump out of your well. You have to deal with that now. You have to buy a new, I mean? There's life that's still happening on the continent. The reality of going to a developing country is still there, and it's still real. So if you go there with a fantasy mindset, you'll be spit out by the continent, and then you're gonna blame all kind of thing why Africans don't like you, and you're gonna make up whatever you want to make up. But preparation is key. So we're gonna have that conversation today with our guests. It's gonna be a powerful reasoning today. And the other part that I love about today is that this guest is part of our Lion Pride on Patreon. She's part of the inner circle of this platform. And, one of our faithful, come to all of the town hall meetings, participating. So this is a joy. This is like a family meeting, family reunion. Big up all of the Lion Pride on Patreon. I see some of them in the comments already. Big up on yourself, Sister Rashida. Big up yourself. Mikey B, Akashic, big up yourself. Big up yourself, Sister Ivory Grace, local DMV family. We are here, we are gathered, and today is a celebration. It's a celebration of community, but it's also a preparation. So we're looking forward. So before I bring forward the guests, let me just take the time. Okay, I see Ross Roots coming in. Yes, the family is trotting in. If you're watching live, big up yourself. Before we do that, have to big up the greatest online community on the planet Earth, the Lion Pride. If you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. We're growing. We just hit 64,000 today. You know what I mean? So the platform is growing steadily, and it's because of the item and the word of mouth, the ones who are discovering. And the beautiful thing is that the video retention time, meaning how long people are watching the videos, is also growing. So Iman, that shows that people are not just subscribing, but they're actually looking at the content. So I really feel good about it. Also, let me say that we are at 47 Lion Pride on Patreon. That means paid monthly subscribers have reached 47. This is the closest that we've gotten to 50. If you're watching for the first time, we said that if we reach 50 subscribers, we're going to start a grant program where we're going to start giving a small stipend to some of our workers in the Rastafarian Pan-African community, and we're going to vote on it in our town hall meetings. And every Lion Pride on Patreon member will be able to nominate different workers that they know, and we'll, hear presentations about them, and we will, try to see how we can highlight these workers. We have a simple game plan for the Armageddon on this platform, and that is, let us bring the capital together and put it in the hands of the workers. Let us decentralize and centralize at the same time. So we centralize on the platform, but we decentralize in the sense that let's capitalize the workers. You come on the platform, we want 50,000 people to give $10 to that person and buy or support whatever they're doing. That capitalize them for a whole year production. Now they're ready to face the Gideon. Let's equip people to face the Gideon with the economic tools, and it only costs. And what I'm going to be reasoning with the family about is, we, as a Lion Pride, I'm not talking to the casual viewers. Big up yourself. Thanks for your patience to the casual viewers, but to the Lion Pride, our subscribers, we're going to recommend creating a budget, a monthly budget. It's almost like a susu or a partner draw. You put aside $50, and out of that 50, I'm going to give $10 5 times to 5 different guests on the platform. So that way, we're building a reservoir of people to give out of our 64,000. Again, if we have 1,000 people even doing that, a small percentage giving $10, that's $10,000 that a worker who is doing positive work has now that they can invest in what they're doing. Imagine. And we don't have to imagine that we're going to make it happen. So that is what we're really pushing on this platform, is this concept of collective security, getting the funds in the hands of the people doing the work. Let the workers do what they do. Let us support, let us circulate the Rastafari and the Pan-African dollar. Yes, big up Mikey B. This 47 in the Patreon is really an achievement. So we're giving thanks, and big up our latest, His Majesty, latest, and I think it's someone from Local 12 EWF. Big up all of I local EWF family. We're building a community. This is the only way to survive this World War III Armageddon, is to be a part of community, is to connect. So if you are a lone lion or lioness, now is not the time. Join an organization, become active. It doesn't have to be the Lion Voice Network. Find something that aligns with what you love. Become a part of that community and be active. Give resources, time, know-how. This is how we're going to survive. And then those institutions and organizations can work together at the organizational level to make change and make things happen. But if you're out there by yourself, you're not useful to the community, and you'll be easy to be picked off. Because remember, divide and rule is the only plan. That's the only plan, divide and rule. So once we're divided, we'll be easily ruled. Once we come together, we will not be easily fooled. You see, I'm an artist. I have to shove that in sometime. But give thanks to everyone. And big up the Ubuntu Lion Pride. I think we're at 15 or 16 in the Ubuntu Lion Pride. That's our one-time contribution. It's a lifetime distinction, $100 US and above. And you are part of the Ubuntu. That number is going to go up with time. So if you want to memorialize yourself, and that means when we get a physical space, we'll have like a wall, Ubuntu wall, where your name, your family name, your business name, whatever you want, can be there. You are helpful in the building. And the beautiful thing, a lot of our Lion Pride on Patreon, our monthly subscribers, are also Ubuntu Lion Pride members. And a lot of our Ubuntu Lion Pride members, even though they still give funds when they can, because again, people see at this point, if you can't see the work we're doing here, you're just ignoring the work. It's not because it's not there. Over 1,000 pieces of content on the platform. Rastafari, Pan Africans from all over the world. We're doing it here. Edited content, interviews. We are putting forward what we want to see in terms of, an alternative to the B system, the Epstein system. We don't want that system. We got to create our own system, and we're doing it. And media is a key part of that. And we're building up our media platform. So big up all of the items who have been a part of this journey. I'm humbled. I'm in a state of gratitude. And we need only 3 more monthly subscribers. We're going to announce the town hall meeting for March. I would love to launch our grant program in March. 3 people in the Lion Pride, we need to become monthly subscribers at $10 and above, and we will be launching our grant program. So consider making that commitment to Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media and step into the Gideon. Mecca and I work because we have works to do. Also, when you see me sipping from my container, I'm supporting a Rastafari business, Ramia King Design, Rastalage, the tumbler. It keeps your stuff cold, warm. I have some coconut water in here today. I'm going to be sipping. Get your Ital snacks. Get prepared because today we have a guest extraordinaire. This sister is powerful. She is chatting with our Kingman, and they are building in Ghana. But we're going to hear her story because she's not too long sighting up the Livity, and she has her own story and her own journey. So Lion Pride, help us to welcome our royal sister, one of the pillars in our Lion Pride on Patreon, financial analyst background, program manager. We are going to hear all of it. Help us to welcome Empress Donyell. Royal greetings.
Greetings, greetings.
Royal blessings and strength. It's an honor to have the eye first. Let me start right there. From the first time that we were, interacted, your humbleness, your willingness to support this platform has always been very humbling to I and I, you know what I mean? And always coming to the town hall meetings with a lot to contribute. So I want to just publicly say, give thanks. And then I'm going to invite you. You know better than anyone because you watch, you fund the content that you have to step into the Lion Talk time machine. So I know you have your story ready. Get your Ital snacks, people. We're going there. This is a blockbuster film. I'm already convinced. Give us your origin story.
Well, I'm a baby in Rastafari. I came out of the Christian church. My father was a pastor. My mother was an evangelist, and I too was a licensed and ordained minister.
Okay.
Singing background vocals on some gospel tracks and all of those good things. But I was lost, but now I'm found, and I'm giving thanks. I found joy in His Imperial Majesty and in all His truth, and I'm just grateful. My heart is grateful.
Give thanks. And where were you born?
I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, with a Jamaican father and American mother.
Okay. What was that like?
Well, I mean, Dad wasn't in the house, so I would just kind of get a little bit of him when he would come pick me up every other weekend and those types of things. So I didn't really get caught up in the culture per se, but it was always in me. So I always gravitated towards that side versus, the American side. Even though, you learn to cook all those things, that your mom is cooking all the American dishes, but it's far different when you're not in the house where that is happening. So, due to other circumstances beyond my control.
Of course.
I wasn't around grandma to learn how to sew and to, cook all of the Jamaican food. So now I'm learning that with my Kingman.
Okay, give thanks. You're Kingman from Jamaica?
He's half Jamaican as well. He's
Oh
from
my
New York.
gosh. It's a
Yeah.
soul connection.
Yes.
What a joy. And we're gonna reason with the Kingman probably
Mhm.
next month
Yeah.
because again they're doing some powerful work.
Mhm.
So we definitely want to get that love story. But
Yeah.
before that, what was it like growing up? Let's paint the picture up in those places where there are a lot of black people where you lived. What kind of community did you grow up in?
Well, there were black people, there were white people, but I think I still was like rebellious,
Yes.
because I was the odd one. I mean, out of my mother's three children, I was the oldest, but yet the different one. You always have that black sheep. And on my
Yeah.
father's side, I'm the oldest, and then my siblings don't understand me over there either. So to be a black sheep on both sides, I'm the.
Yeah.
My cousins called me weird at a young age, and I just kind of brushed it off. But then you really internalize those things, and you don't know that you've
Yes.
internalized them until you get older and you start working on yourself, and you come into to Rastafari, into his realm and his love, and then he accepts you as you are, but he knows you have to strip all of that stuff. So during the time that is being purged out of you, you remember these comments, you
Yes.
remember a lot of stuff that is said to you, things that different ways that people treated you. You start recognizing that, because while you're in the mix of all of that, you're just giving love. You're just like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep loving you anyway. But
Yes.
now you still love them, but now you say, okay, now I understand why you thought I was different. You thought I was weird. I've
Yeah.
never, and I appreciate that
Yeah.
because it's helping me to keep moving forward on my tribe,
Yeah.
because I don't have to look for an approval from anybody.
So when they say weird, was it did you read a lot? You weren't playing. What did they find weird about you as a young child?
I think it was just the way that I handled them, the different things that I would say. I don't really know, exactly what it was, but they just, oh, you're just weird. As the
Yeah,
older
yeah,
ones
yeah.
always saying, oh, you're weird. And then there were, because a lot of us were half Jamaican.
Yeah.
So, and then one cousin, I was like, oh, well, such and such said that I was weird. And she's like, no, but I understood you. I said,
Huh.
okay, you know.
Okay, okay. That's so interesting. What
Yeah.
so was your school predominantly black school or was it mixed race or what was the demographics of your school?
It was mixed race, but when we moved to Atlanta from Massachusetts, and I think I was right back before I turned 16, it was a little
Okay.
culture shock because there was a whole lot of black people. And
Okay.
after graduating from high school, I went to Clark Atlanta University,
Oh, beautiful.
UT, with Morehouse and Spelman and
Yes.
Morris Brown. So that was, by that time I had stepped into a rebellious state, meaning
Okay.
I had already vowed I'm never going to work for corporate America, not knowing I got out of college and I had to go in corporate America because I come from a black family. A lot
Yeah.
of us didn't have a springboard to move forward with having our own, so we had to go out there into corporate America or go wherever we were going to go in order to
Mhm.
make funds.
What was it like for those, because we have an international audience, as you know, they might not know the experience of going to the HBCU. I'm a Howard alumni, so I went to the Mecca, so I can talk confident. But the other, outside of Howard, when people think about that ideal experience, that Atlanta, Clark, Spelman, Morehouse, that triangle is like the epicenter of HBCU culture. Explain to people who might not be familiar what that was like for you moving from the north to the south and experiencing that culture.
Right. Moving from Massachusetts to Atlanta, first off, to see so many people that look like me. Not only that, to see a lot of people that look like me that were mayors, they were senators, they were movers and shakers and business owners, and a lot of people owning their homes and just and being free to be themselves.
Yes.
So and to be able to express themselves as well. Whether they, I saw the guy at the corner who had the what do you call it, the magazine that the Nation of Islam have.
Yes.
They had that out there. They had their bean pies. We didn't have that growing in Massachusetts. We didn't see
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So, and people being able to even the style. I mean, we were very stylish, but it was a different kind of style and flair that you had here in Atlanta versus up northeast. You were able to see that, and then going to school in the Atlanta University Center to see people from all walks of life coming from everywhere, from Bermuda, from Nassau, from England, and just people here, and all of us had looking. We're all coming slightly different, but really the same people, and to have that, it was beautiful, for people to their own individual ways to express themselves. It was very, very surprising, very welcoming, and that freed me up to be even more expressive and to be myself and appreciate being me.
Wow. Yes. It's really a great thing. Did you get involved in any of the sorority, fraternity culture, or how did you look at that culture?
Well, I wanted to pledge Delta, but the Most High had a different plan. Instead of pledging Delta, I pledged me by me, and I was adamant about being me. I'm glad I didn't pay or search for the money or figure out how I was going to come up with the money to go and pledge and all of those things. Only now to find out that's not where I needed to be, and that's not the path that I was supposed to be on. In fact, there were some other things that I was doing as a younger teenager. I had a demo at 15, and all kinds of record labels heard me, and oh, well, my mother was taking me here, taking me there. I was in this competition, and people were seeing me, and Motown Records and A&R Records and all these people, but they bypassed me, and that was the Father's protection. Because had I gotten out into that arena, who knows where I would have been.
Yes.
So I give thanks for that, and I mean that's that I hold on to that, and I reverence the Father for doing it.
What were you studying in school?
I was an accounting major.
Okay, numbers. What attracted you to accounting? This is going to be important for our discussion later. I want people to know the pedigree. That when you're talking, this is not just someone rattling off the top of their head. This is someone who's trained in finance and accounting. What attracted you to accounting?
Well, in high school, I got into it, and we went back home to Massachusetts while my mother had surgery up there, and I got pulled into an accounting class. I really loved it in high school. So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And my uncle said, oh, yeah, that's what they're looking for, accountants. I was like, all right, good, I'll just do that. He's like, get into telecommunication. I was like, yeah, okay, because I really didn't know what I wanted to do, because I deviated going to school to be I wanted to be a medical examiner. So when I made up my mind, I didn't want to do that after my daddy, who was my stepfather. Once he passed, I just said, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Let me do something else. So accounting was my outlet. The problem solving, it helps to trigger, deeper critical thinking. So when you're dealing with finances and you're trying to solve problems, you have to really dig and really see what other pieces really fit to the puzzle.
Give thanks. And then what was the trajectory after you graduated? You said you went into corporate America. What was your first job out of college?
I was a bill collector because, in the Atlanta University Center, the companies that came in, they wanted you to have experience, or they came in and they only had one particular intern that they're talking to thousands of us, So I ended up started as a bill collector.
Yes.
Did that for a few years, and then I was finally, after the Olympics in '97, I was able to get a job with Hewlett Packard, and I was a a senior accountant, and I loved it, crunching the numbers and all of those good things and fixing problems, and people don't really understand that numbers really create a picture.
Yes.
And it's able to write stories, and that's what we do in the finance world.
Wow, we're gonna get a story tonight. I hope you have your Ital snacks, family. We going there tonight. This is a financial guru. We love it. All right. So in terms of you worked as finance, talk to us about your spiritual journey now. What was that trajectory from, young? You said that you are a minister yourself. How, what was that journey like?
Well, I'll say this: it started out shaky, and really, it stayed shaky the whole time.
Okay.
And I say that because you're drug into church, and I was singing solos at 3.
Okay. Wow.
Not really understanding where I was, but that's what I was doing. And then I remember this came back to me recently. At 7, I was like, "Are we going the right way?" I couldn't ask my mother this. I couldn't ask nobody, but I was asking me, are we going the right way? I don't think this is a way that I should be going. But, not really having that boldness to ask my mother this, I just kept it to myself. And I said, well, I guess this is the right way because this is where she's taking us, and she wouldn't have me going somewhere that I shouldn't be going. Not knowing that, it was the wrong way. And then what I did is when I just said, all right, well, I'll just throw myself into this because I don't see any other way. When I would see my cousins, when I would go see my cousins in the Bahamas and hang out with them, at the corner, there was a reggae camp, a Rasta camp.
Okay.
And every time I walked past there, I would feel the pull to go over there, but they had a big fence around them because during that time, it was a lot of violence towards the Rastas, because of the rebellion and the stance that they took. So I couldn't go over there because I didn't see any women. And when I got back to Massachusetts, who was I going to talk to? I didn't have that out. When I was going along, and then you're singing in the choir, you're doing this, you're doing that, keeping yourself busy. Like, all right, well, let me make the most of this because I wasn't fully into it, even though I was in it. I was doing the works, but I felt empty.
Wow.
I'll say that. I felt very empty, and having no one to express that to, you just keep going forward because you just think, all right, well, it'll get better at some point. It never did. So 5 years ago, Jah brought the help. He brought the insight. He brought the Kingman and all of the wisdom and the insight, and he fed me and nourished me and my youth. And it has been life-changing, and I'm forever grateful because Jah could have left me out there, in falsehood. And I'm just grateful. I'm just forever grateful. That's all I can say. I know I'm in the right place, and I'll turn them back. Before that, I took a trip to Jordan thinking that I was going to be there I was there for 9 months saying, okay, well, I'm going to cross over to Israel. Me and my youth were going to cross over to Israel, and we were going to stay in Israel. Oh, I'm grateful for that we couldn't go over. The money my job didn't start in Jordan. Money got funny, and the father said, now take your butt back home.
Okay.
And after that, he bought the Kingman. And it's been a joyous ride ever since.
Where did you meet the Kingman?
We met.
We see his silhouette in the forward. He's starring. He's co-starring.
You see him peering in.
Big up, Kingman. Big up. But and he has a message that you're gonna share with us shortly as well.
Yeah.
But where did you all meet?
We met through some different exchanges. So the Father has a way of bringing lives together and for a certain purpose, and to get you where you need to be.
Yes.
And I'm grateful. My kids are grateful too. So
give thanks. And then what was the first conversation about His Majesty? What did that, how did that reasoning, and then how did you come to the divinity? Because it's one thing to acknowledge the history, but now saying embracing the divinity. What was that reasoning like?
Well, he was talking about our history, and I was compelled, and I listened, and I really didn't like him, and I was like, no, I don't like this guy, but and the Father just kept reeling me in and reeling me in and reeling me in, and I'm like, oh, we would talk, and it was like we'd start talking like 9:30, you blink and it's 2:30, because he was talking nonstop over the phone. And then we went out, we did a family date, And I was still saying, I don't like him, but I'm gonna go with it for a minute, but then, and then when I happened to go to his house for the first time, and I was like, who's this on the wall? He's like, oh, that's His Majesty. He said, you've never seen him? I said, no, I haven't. And then as I reflect back, there's a vision that His Majesty has brought to me, and he's like, and it was more an exchange in the vision between him and I, and he was saying, basically, you've been looking for me. Here I am. Here I am. So I was sold.
And you at this point knew the Bible pretty well, I'm assuming.
Yes, I did.
So how did that mesh with your biblical knowledge? How did you put the pieces together?
Well, the Kingman had put them together, and it was like, you had the words, but you didn't have the light. So he brought all of that, and then the lights came on. You were walking around. I was walking around in darkness and didn't know that that's what was happening.
Yes, connecting the history and knowing that this Israelite is a documentation of a people and a history, and that Ethiopia really preserved the integrity of that story, of that people, and that Ethiopia has been the champion of the preservation of that covenant.
That's exactly where he started with the history lessons.
I like the Kingman. I'm looking forward to reason with the Kingman. So, in terms of embracing Rastafari, you what have been some of the changes that I had to make, or what was some of the differences from how you were treading before?
Well, differences is more discipline. In Christianity, you don't have that kind of discipline. As well in Christianity, you're taught to just sit down and just let Jesus fight your battles. No, then why would we have the scripture? The kingdom of God suffers violence, but the violence taketh by force. You have to speak. You have to proclaim. You have to speak in order for your forces to go forward to bring about what you're speaking or what you're calling forth. In Christendom, you're not really taught that. You're taught to be very passive.
Yes.
Just take whatever's being taught to you, and you internalize it, but it's not changing anything.
Yes.
Your inside environment is still a corrupt place to be. There's no freedom. You're bogged down with all of your garbage and all of the false matrix mindset that you're taught. You're bogged down with it, and you don't know that you're enslaved and you're in a cult. Plain and simple as it is.
Wow, you're going hard. But in terms of moving forward, is one thing to embrace Rastafari, but you have gone the next step, which is embrace the call for repatriation, which not even all who say Rastafari are actively preparing. How did that Africa part of the trad now come about?
Well, the Kingman mentioned it, and I just kind of say, yeah, okay, but it wasn't until a few months later, and I was watching a video on YouTube, and it was a lady that had moved from Los Angeles, and she moved to Ghana, and I saw that she created this beautiful place for the children, the youth to come in. And she created a library on her compound. She created all of these different things, and her friends were sending money to help buy breakfast for them, for the youth to come to her house, have breakfast, and be able to come there after school and have this big library that she created in her home, or another compound, another structure on her compound. And I was watching that. I remember it was Mother's Day, and I was like, oh my God. And I said, Rosnaya, we're moving to Ghana. Let's go to Ghana. Let's go visit. And we went to visit a few months after that. 6 months later, we were in Ghana. And upon landing, all I could do was just like, oh my God, I'm at home. I felt it in my spirit. And the whole time I was there, I mean, as women get older, it's harder to sleep because of the hormonal changes that we go through.
Yes,
Once
yes.
we got to Ghana, I slept.
Oh.
I slept and then weight just started dropping off. I wasn't doing anything different. All of us on the trip, it was 6 of us. Weight
Yes.
just started coming off, and I was at peace to the point where when it was time to go, I was crying. Like, I'm gonna be homesick. I don't want to go back into this mess I have to go back into. I don't want this, but I had to come back because my youth were here. We had to come back and work, and we knew from the time that we got back, we hit the ground running, saving our money, sending our money to Ghana, buying land, doing this, doing that, setting up 3 businesses over there. We had to because we couldn't leave the money here. It was just like a strong urge to keep driving everything to Ghana.
And this is really what we want to talk about today, is the practical reality of making that determination. Once you say repatriation, that's fine. But as I know, there are facts on the ground, there are economic realities, there are assets people have accumulated in the West. So a lot of people sell everything and move one time. I don't recommend that. I like a gradual approach, because things happen, you know what I mean? And you need to learn the new land before you fully commit. That is my, I know others take different perspectives in terms of others want to just make a big leap. I've seen it work, but I've also seen it not work many more times. So I think going there back and forth is the best option, and I want to reason with the eye about it. But before we get to that, you said that your Kingman had a message.
Yes.
And I wanted to give you the eye opportunity. We're going to reason with him next month. But you said that it was a vision and a strong declaration, and we are a platform. We are unapologetically Rastafari, Pan-African. So this is the platform for that kind of thing, where we want to get this to our audience. So please share that message.
All right. It says, guard your economics, your assets, and your spiritual wellness, if you haven't. Most of our people are living on fumes. America itself is collapsing into poverty, mental illness, and famine. The empire is dangling on threads. This Iran war was unannounced to the American people and Congress. This is a major indicator and sign that the country is broke. America is fighting for oil. This is why they kidnapped President Maduro and his wife from Venezuela. The plan is to seize their oil. These are rogue tactics and signs of a falling and desperate empire. I am speaking from my experience and knowledge of history, economics, politics, and spiritual alignment. AES Consulting Incorporated was not established from our own knowledge and experience. I'm going to double back because African AES stands for African Excellence and Sovereignty.
Okay.
So this is established from, as I mentioned, the world knowledge and experience from the foresight, prophetic word, and instructions of our Father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our biblical ancestors. Instructions that align with his divine will and purpose for his people, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from his mouth, his counsel, and his divine guidance. Our corporation and consultation are built on alignment. Those who are truly called don't come from comfort. They come out of the wilderness, out of affliction, pressure, and fire. They are not of the world and not joined to worldly congregations. They are children of the covenant, a small remnant that has been nurtured in the secret places of Jah, trained and prepared for these times. They have been chosen, one from a family, unbeknown to the world, ordinary people by the world's standards, yet carrying the power of the Holy Spirit. Of them, the Father declares, pay attention. I'm sending you prophets, wise men and women, teachers, interpreters, and scribes who know my laws and my principles. Matthew 23:34. They are sent not to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. Their assignment is to the wayward children, those who knowingly walk in deception, clinging to falsehood, and swallow the twisted doctrines of religious institutions that poison their perceptions and ability to discern. We are not waiting for the last days, we are standing in them. Divine intervention and judgment is already moving across nations and households, not to destroy, but to save. Yet anyone who rejects the servants I send will face a fate more severe than Sodom and Gomorrah. Mercy's window has closed, and the righteous indignation of the Father is now confronting the world of false prophets, false preachers, false leaders, teachers, and all great and small, such as the quasis and those doing the work, are deliberately corrupted by the truth of God. Christ Emmanuel and the prophets, search your heart without excuses. Decide now which you will serve. Decide now which you will serve and how you will respond to this message. Ignorance is not innocence. Ignorance is a sin that demands repentance. I did not know is no longer an acceptable defense. God views ignorance of his word and his commandments as a dangerous condition, one that leads to destruction, sin, and foolishness, which he once overlooked. He now commands all people to repent of. The season of passive belief has ended. The call to pursue wisdom has begun. You are responsible for knowing the truth. You are responsible for refusing deception. You are responsible for pursuing understanding. The ignorance of corrupt pastors and the willful ignorance of complacent believers will not be tolerated any longer. Pastors who grew rich off of tithes now pretend they misunderstood the very scriptures they used to collect billions. That is either staggering incompetence or deliberate theft. Either way, it exposes them as unfit shepherds who rob God's people while claiming to serve him. Both reveal corruption, both demand accountability. Willful ignorance has produced spiritual blindness, moral collapse, and separation from Jah. And the great deception of the socially raptured, preached of profit, control, and spectacle, has already come and gone, leaving millions confused and betrayed. The mega churches and religious institutions that push this lie owe an explanation, yet they remain silent. Those with discernment already knew the rapture doctrine was never truth. It was a manufactured scheme, crafted by those who claimed to speak for Jah, but operated as the very den of thieves Christ Emmanuel condemned. Who will answer for this great lie? Who will take responsibility for confusion? Why has Christ not returned according to their word? What is the new date for the next rapture? Or has it been quietly abandoned? Or is it also a crafted scheme by those who claim to speak for Jah, but are the very den of thieves Christ warned us about? The truth is simple. The deception has been exposed. The excuses have run out, and Jah is holding both leaders and followers accountable for the ignorance they choose and the truth they reject. All right. Don't let your table, which is your comfort, be your snare. Psalm 69:22. A new timeline has started in 2026. The normalcy that you were accustomed to no longer exists. The government has become blatantly lawless, waging undeclared war against civilians, economically, physically, mentally, spiritually. Many can see and sense that the system is crumbling and worse is coming. Cost of living is out of reach. Mass homelessness, mass unemployment, bioengineered food, collapsing institutions, etc. Not the time for big business or big career plans. Neither should you be sitting on the fence. Time to assess, consolidate, and downsize. Get your priorities right. Prepare yourself and your family for uncertain circumstances. The mysteries of revelations are revealing what has been hidden. That which has been cloaked under deception and lies cannot hide any longer. These times require divine insight, attentive ears, and a heart of divine discernment in order to truly understand the call to action. Alienation, loneliness, and despair will increase due to unalignment. Those who are like minded will flock together for better or worse. High priority for self governance, physical health, mental competence, and spiritual peace, adaptability, simplicity, humility, humbleness, spiritual discernment, and warfare. And this is just a warning that he put out, which is an urgent warning to all, especially the children of Christ whose skin is black. The Homeland Security wants social media sites to expose anti-ICE accounts. So beware what you're putting on like Facebook and all of these social medias, because they're asking for your accounts to be they're doing subpoenas on people's social media accounts, and they're getting your information.
Definitely. So give thanks for that. And I think that's a beautiful segue into our reasoning. And the key that I took from that, the key passage, I think, is don't think that this is a time for normalcy. I think a lot of people think they're waiting for things to go back to normal, quote unquote. Things are not going back to pre-COVID. Things are not going back to, all of these things were escalations on this global plan. And, don't be fooled. They're going to destroy the system, the old system, to rebuild this new system that they have. So if you're tied in, you're depending on that system and it's destroyed, you're risking being destroyed with it. You're expendable. So that's why we have to, as your Kingman said, they declared a war without consulting the people, without going to Congress, which is required by the U.S. Constitution. And this war now has become a regional war. It's by definition a world war because it's impacting the world. Several nations are being impacted. Several nations are fighting this war, and it's going to be a long war. We told you on this platform from a longer time, this is not going to be a short war, and it's going to degrade the Western system. Europe is going to crash first, because right now Europe, over, I think, 40% of Europe's gas comes out of Qatar, and none of that is being shipped. So Europe immediately has a huge gap. So all of our lion pride in Europe, make sure you're preparing, storing food, getting yourself together. This is a dreadful time, and it's because the Mosai is removing comfort from people. It's like you said, there's no passive chatting anymore. You don't get to sit on the fence. You have to choose a side, and your yay have to be yay, your nay have to be nay. There are risks. There are, you have to make bold moves right now. You can't be wishy-washy, loosey-goosey, So said. That being said, let's get into the topic, which is repatriation, the dollars and the cents. What and we can start with your example. What were some of the things that you thought about from your accounting background when you thought about relocating to Ghana?
Well, to have someone overseeing it as to how I was going to continue to bring money in.
Yes.
Even though we had the businesses going, we still knew that we needed to pay our employees. We knew we needed to, support ourselves. So to do that, went rapid fire. He's a chef and a herbalist, and he makes products. Me being in finance and accounting and project management, we're all scrambling, trying to make extra money. And that's what we did in order to buy the land that we purchased. We bought over 4.5 acres of land and still have the businesses going.
Okay.
But we didn't want to stop there. We also wanted to be able to pull others along. So we were employing our Ghanaian brothers and sisters to help them to rise. And we were supporting other families and paying school tuitions and all that stuff for some of their children, as well as helping them to get a place to stay and to help get them stable so that they could continue to do some of the works that we needed them to do. But that's what we did. We just doubled up on what we were doing, and we stopped splurging. We already didn't really eat out like that, but we ate at home. We started eating at home and making sure we had quality food that we were eating so that we could stay healthy. We also, we would have loved to keep going back and forth to Ghana, but to buy all of these plane tickets that we'd have to buy, we just said, we'll sit still and we just trust the Father, and that's what we've done. We downsized our life and moved into a rental because we know this will be the last place that we'll be before we bounce out of here. So that's our position, and just really knowing that you can't, everybody wants to go to I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people like the beach. I love being on the beach, especially if it's a beautiful beach. I had to get rid of that desire, and I just had to be home. We work 6 days a week, making it. I don't care if it's if we're just reasoning or we're brainstorming. We're working, and everything that we're doing is putting towards our vision of where we're going, not where we're currently.
All right. So let's take a step back. What talk to us about how you establish your business, AES Consulting, and what you made mention of your 3 businesses that you started. What were those businesses and what was the process?
Well, AES Consulting is something that we've been doing for a while. It's just that we put up the website because we were using other affiliates to get our people in to Ghana and to different parts of Africa as well. That's just the route that we took. And AES is a strategic consultation structure and divine preparedness and community resilience. This is what AES is, and we do consultations to help people with their finances, to get their finances in order. We help people to get funding, whether it be business funding, personal funding. We also help people to purchase land and homes. In Ghana, we have our team set up there that they're helping us until they're the go-between for us with our them helping us to get our land inventory and our homes and all of those things that we want to present to people that we consult with. As far as the businesses, we kind of downsized them because one of them, the lady who was cooking for us, she passed away. She was a young lady, 38 years old. She passed, and then we had another eatery, and that one didn't do too good where we were in that community. And we have a small transportation business that has slowed down. It's the Abobaye was moving a lot of building equipment and helping people to move and those types of things. So the business is there, but it's not. We've slowed it all the way down. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Our main focus now is like, okay, well, we got to get there so we can make sure things move, are operating and moving according to our vision and not, kind of steering off of the path that we wanted to stay on.
And that's the key. You have to be on the ground.
Yes.
For serious development. It's still a developing country. So, to make sure that you're getting the maximum out of your dollar you spend, you got to have FaceTime with people. They got to see you, they got to feel your presence, because it's very easy for people to get strayed, as you said, from the mission, or not deliver to the high standard. Once the money becomes consistent, then people get comfortable and things start to. So, talk to us about the restaurant. Was it a restaurant or a carryout, or what was the food business?
Well, the second one that we had, it was like a cafe, so to speak. We built it out from a container, and we had a place for people to sit down and eat, while the food was served, and we had the counter and everything, just like we would have done it here in America, so to speak.
Yes.
We had the little counter, and all the food is being served. We had the live DJ when we did the grand opening, so the DJ was outside, and they were blaring the African, the Ghanaian Afro beats and all of the good music, and people were coming in, and we have the video footage of the ladies in there swaying and dancing, and the men coming in to eat lunch during their lunch break, and it was a big to do, and they really enjoyed that.
Where in Ghana is your land currently based? Your businesses, where are they based?
In Kasima.
Okay, and that's in Accra.
It's right outside of Accra.
Okay, beautiful. So that's prime real estate too.
Yes, it is. We have most of our land is anywhere between from Kasoa going all the way up to Winneba.
Okay.
We also have one other business. It's an agricultural business. We're just starting it. We have a farmer who has already planted our trees, and he'll be getting ready to plant our crops soon.
What crops are you planting?
We've planted a coconut tree. We've planted a you said crops or trees?
Crops. What's going to be the main crops on the farm?
Well, we're going to have some cassava and maybe some yams, and I'm not sure of what else we're going to put out there, but we've designated an acre of land for that, because we're going to be selling agriculture as well as having some for ourselves and our employees. We're setting up a like a, what do you call it, on the side of the road where you can just pull over, buy your goods, maybe grab you a sandwich and something to drink, and keep riding, because it's on a main road.
Okay, nice. And that's the thing with Africa. There's so much opportunity for business and commerce. And I recommend to everyone, just as a Rastafari, I think everyone should have a family farm.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because with this war, is going to be global food shortages. Even anywhere that imports food, shipping on the high seas is going to be very precarious, and then also very expensive, because remember the price of crude oil. These ships run on diesel fuel, so the price of all of that's going to go up, which is going to mean higher prices on the shelf. So I think everyone should be preparing themselves as Rastafari to be in a space where they can have a family farm.
Yes.
Your day-to-day provisions, your things you can at least supplement. Even if you're not getting 100% of your food, you can supplement, and I think that's key, wherever you are. So I love to hear that you're considering farming. Talk to us about budgeting, because you know what my two buzzwords are on this platform, because you're Lion Pride and Patron and one of our faithful, and those two words are budget and staff. You know what I mean? Two things that you know very well. Talk to us about, like, for a family that's here, that's living check to check, because most of our people, let's be real, they're living check to check. They're trying to make things meet. They're trying, and something comes up and you're trying to fill a gap, and you got a hole. How do you wrap your mind around repatriation? What do you say to that family in terms of budgeting, preparation? Because this thing seems so far-fetched to so many because of their economic potential, they're already not making enough cash. What kind of recommendations in terms of budgeting and just dealing with money would you recommend for them?
Well, number one, I think that I mean, I have some realistic, different examples that I've thought about before the meeting, and someone that doesn't have a whole lot of money. With AES Consulting, we do a lot. One of our consultations is financial sovereignty.
Okay,
We
beautiful.
have to have our own sovereignty, and then that starts with us making a decision that we're going to take control of our finances, our assets, our generational wealth. So for someone that doesn't have a whole lot of money, it's tax season. This is probably going to be the last big boom that you're
Yes.
going to get from your tax return. And I believe that in this time you have to make that sacrifice if you're serious about getting out of here. The thing that what I would suggest and what I consult my clients, I say this: take that tax return and turn it into an asset. Don't take it and go and pay these bills and all of that, because that's going to still be there. You're just going to clear that slate and you're going to be back in that same situation.
Yeah.
So your sovereignty will begin with your land. So you need to take the $15,000, buy your land in Ghana. You don't have to go. If you consult with our company, we take care of that. You say, okay, I want land. We're going to present the land to you and say, how about this? How about this? We'll have the whole package shown to you of what you'd be getting. And once you decide that that's what you want to do, we'll walk the whole process to you, get everything signed, documented, and bring you and send you the papers. And you'd be heavily involved in that process. So I think it would start there. And then the next thing that I would tell them is to build up on your skills. There's a lot of free classes that they're still offering out here. I even pushed my son to go take several more AI classes. There was AI prompting and this thing and that thing. I mean, we have to build our skill set. If you just know knitting, you got to go learn how to crochet. If you know crocheting, you got to go learn how to sew. So those different things, and those are budget sensitive, because some of those things that are gather up the free classes. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Gather up your free classes, and that way you're building up your rapport of skills, and then that way you can keep building on your skills and make money from those different skills.
I think that's key, is acquiring skills that can make you money. Direct to consumer is where everything is right now. So even if you are, crocheting hats or whatever, you can turn that into a viable business, and you might not be making enough to pay all your bills, but you can be doing that while you watch TV and you're unwinding and selling those wares on a website, shipping them out. You know what I mean? You're creating a brand. So we got to really think about things from income stream and creating brands that have value. There's something called goodwill that resides in a brand, and that has value. Because and we all have skills that we have that we don't really tap into, or that we lay dormant, and probably where you need creating your brand. So that when you're on the continent, you can leverage that into a business. You know what I mean? Because you have to earn. It's really,
I mean, and then it doesn't, and that those things the products that you're creating, or the skills that you're cultivating, you're able to take small and make it into something. Where knowing that if you're gonna go ahead and use this tax return to buy your land, because the land price is going up. It's doubled in the last 4 years.
Yes.
So if okay, well, let me try to get this 15,000. You also have a pension some people have a pension that they've been putting money into their 401k.
Yes.
Well, I mean, as quiet as this kept, your pension has been invested into the stock market. So the companies are making money. You need to go pull out as much as you can out of your 401k. You can take a loan off of it and let it, long as you're still working, you can just let a little bit go back, to pay that loan. But at least you got the bulk of your money and you can go ahead and push that to where you need to push it to, buying your land, or if you know you have a substantial amount, buy you a house and land, whatever the case may be. Start setting up your life there if you're serious about that. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want to take that out. I don't want to do that." But it's better you take it than the stock market and all those big billionaires take your money.
And also, how long will the stock market be functioning at the level it's functioning? Right now, AI is keeping the stock market bubble. It's only a few companies, the tech companies, that are keeping the stock market where it is. And with this war, very important now, with this war, let me come on the camera because I want the people them see what's going on. With this war that's happening, what you have to understand is that the Arab Gulf nations were heavily invested in the U.S. stock market. They were heavily invested in these companies, pushing that petrol money into keeping up. So it was a cycle. Now that their oil infrastructure is being damaged, they don't have the capital to invest into the U.S. market. So what's going to happen is that you're going to find out that these companies start get exposed, the investment, the market is going to crash. Typically, that's a good time to buy stock. However, because they are bringing in a new system, it's going to be unprecedented in terms, and this is why we see the world governments buying gold. That's why gold is over 5,000, because people see the play coming, and everybody is trying to preserve the value in their currency and in their dollar by going into tangible assets, which gold and silver are touchable, tangible assets because they have intrinsic value, outside of just being a commodity. So what you are seeing right now is some serious plays being done, and now might be the top of the market for some time. You know what I mean? I'm not a market analyst. Don't take out your money and say the Chas Match tell you if you take out your money, and you know what I mean? Don't blame I. I'm just sharing my assessment. Just from, and you see the accountant is nodding her head. She didn't say no, the Chas Match, you've gone way off. She's shaking her head. So I must be saying something. Correct.
You are. And when you said something about the people from the UAE,
UAE.
On point, because Saudi Arabia pulled their money out recently out of Chase Bank, and they moved it from Chase and I think they sent it to China. It's somewhere out of here. They took their money out of here recently. Not only that, BlackRock, they quietly moved $3 trillion from the U.S. market over the last couple months unannounced. BlackRock, and they're like asset managers, so they manage a lot of corporations' money and all this and that. They also the president of BlackRock is also, he's over the IMF. Was it the internet? No, not the IMF. What is the one that they just came from Davos? All of these acronyms.
WEF, is that the World Economic Forum?
He's over the WEF, and his company, I believe he's the BlackRock is either his company or he's the president or something like that. But he's one of those top asset managers. So they're moving money about, and they're also, they've said it where their investors, they have like these different funds where all these big billionaires have put money in, and now BlackRock is telling them, no, you can't take your money out because it's going to make stuff destabilize even more. Even major companies, it was 5 major companies that were here in the U.S. They just moved their businesses out of America. Many of them went to Canada because of the different financial benefits that they would have.
And Canada just did a big deal with China, because people are hedging their bets. People are seeing America's being very aggressive with the militarism. But the underlying, because America doesn't manufacture anything, the underlying, for America to reverse what's happening, they would have to restructure the entire society. After World War II, America accounted for, I think it was over 40% of the world manufacturing after World War II.
And then there's something else that people really don't know. Okay, there's 2 things I was going to say, because one, the U.S. debt, they keep saying that it's like 36 or 38 trillion dollars. No, it's $100 trillion. So how are they going to recover if you also have a war that is $1 billion a day?
A day. I saw that headline about the 1 trillion. Break that down if you have any information.
No, I don't have that broken down, but
Okay.
yeah, he's
I
just
saw the
spending.
headline though. I saw it was an economic study that was done recently that
Mhm.
showed that it was over 100 trillion in debt,
Yes,
and this is why they're blowing up the system,
exactly.
because they can't pay it. So this is why
Yes,
they're going and resorting to bad
hmm,
money. This
yes.
we know it in the streets. You know what I
Hmm,
mean? Can't
hmm,
pay. You're gonna go take the money from the creditors. You're gonna go
yes,
take the commodity because you can't
hmm,
pay for it anymore, and
yes.
all these things. So I mean, it's not hard for Black people to understand, uh,
Hmm,
working class people to understand what we see. The question is, what is the preparation? What
hmm,
idea you heard from AES Consulting, your tax return? This is
hmm,
where I would also interject. Um, if you're part of the Lion Pride, this is why you hear me talking
hmm,
about us putting our capital together
yes.
to
Hmm,
fund different workers, because we all have access to $5, $10,
yes.
$1. You know what I
Hmm,
mean? And
hmm,
if we put that together, that is where the power comes from, and we
hmm,
alleviate some of that helplessness that you
hmm,
feel like things are happening around you.
yes.
You can always come on the Lion Voice Network and the Lion Pride give you that cast infusion. This is my vision. And
Hmm,
then you would have the capital to do that investment in repatriation. If you have
yes.
500,000, then you could buy land, you could build a business in Africa.
Hmm,
That's another thing that we would empower these workers to be able to do.
right.
So this is something very crucial. And then the other thing that we have to know, and I'm going to ask the eye about the AES, if that was also related to what's happening in the Sahel, with Burkina Faso, Mali, or Niger, if that's just a coincidence.
No,
They have the AES as well.
no. We had African excellence and sovereignty, and this came about after after AES, in the Sahel did their big push for their name for
Yeah.
their region, and because our name African excellence and sovereignty was so long, the Kingman said, "No, let's just cut it down and just use AES." But we're in alignment with what the AES in the Sahel is doing, uh,
Yes.
as well as some things that are going on in Ghana. So
Yes. Yeah.
that's how that came about. But I want to piggyback off of one thing that you just mentioned, as far as what the big blow up and how they're doing certain things.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Congress also just passed it where they just they made people getting food stamps. They're cutting them down to 2 years. They also have it where they are they're cutting back. They just cut back. What is it? I wrote it down here. Okay. Oh, they just cut $5 million worth of food stamps. So people that are getting food stamps, they are cutting that. Congress also just passed a bill to denaturalize U.S. citizens.
Mm.
So even if you were born here, they're denaturalizing y'all. And they already have that in motion. The bill is already signed. And then you have the way that they're treating the black man, woman, and child reverted back to the way that they were treating us in the 60s.
Yes.
So, we have to really, really take the rose-colored glasses off now and be able to look at this and be able to understand what is being done. It's a
Mhm.
whole big plot and a scheme to keep you in that little lullaby state where you're asleep when you really have to wake up and really understand what's happening. And as
Yeah.
far as you preparing yourself to get out of here, you have help. You can reach out to us. I'll give you our website address.
I also put the website in the description for this
Yeah.
video. So if you click on the three dots
Mhm.
underneath the video, you'll
Yeah.
see how you can tap in with AES Consulting.
Yeah.
And the same goes here. We want 1,000 people at least who watch this video to tap in,
Mhm.
send them some strength, take a consultation, at least to hear what they're saying. Let us circulate our dollar, because everyone's saying Rastafari. Everyone who's Pan African should have a thought about what it looks like to return home.
Yes.
What options do I have? What resources do I have? So this is something that we want. Also, you can become a member of the Lion Pride on Patreon. Empress Donyell is one of our active members. She's in there in the town hall meetings. You can build a reasoning with her as well, and her Kingman. So these are the kind of like minds that we are cultivating in our monthly community. And I want to ask why did you become a member of the Lion Pride on Patreon so early? What made you support this channel?
Well, I mean, first off, it's not there weren't a whole lot of sites that I was seeing or channels that I was seeing out on YouTube. And when I did see the Lion Pride, I'm sorry, Roster's channels, they none of them moved me until I started watching the Lion Voice, and I kept listening and kept listening. I was compelled, and I was being drawn into it. So I knew this is where I needed to stay rooted at.
Nice. What have you learned since being a member of the channel?
There's a lot. I mean, because in the town hall meetings, a lot of insider information. It's always where we're being compelled to grow and to push ourselves forward with our businesses, even with our own personal development.
Yes.
And to have that strength with others of like mind, it really helps. And
I love that you say that, because we try to bring special guests. Again, my focus has been economics, because I really feel like that's the we can talk about the theology, the doctrine, that's all great, but at the end of the day, if we don't have that economic power, we're still going to be victims. We're still going to be at the whims of those who have that economic strength. And our children, even beyond us, it pains my heart when we send our children to go interview with companies that don't have our best interests at heart, just because they can get a job. And then how our children have to look at these companies like they are greater than anything that we are doing.
Yes.
These companies are the things that are going to allow them to have a family, to move out of the house, to do, you know what I mean? So we really have to step up the economic part of this trod, because there is an economy around this liberty and around righteousness. There is everything. There's a business around everything, if it's provision of clean water, if it's all of the things that we use, everything that we need, business, so we need to control these things. We need to support these things. And I love what you're doing with the consultation, because a lot of people waste money trying to do it by themselves, trying to go over there on their own. And it's a very steep learning curve in Africa.
Yes,
depending on who you meet, and I'm sure you all are still learning and interacting. And I need to connect the item to our network over there as well.
Yeah, and you people don't realize how they may think that here is a little different. When you're in Africa, or in Africa as a whole, building something, it takes more than just, it takes a whole lot of energy, a lot of think tank reasoning. It takes economics to be able to see how you're going to balance that, have that happy balance. So I would suggest, and I would advise that ones and ones not really look at this and just like, oh, I'll make the move. But it's serious business, because you won't have, if something happens, you can't fall back on unemployment. You have to build something for yourself and a legacy for your youth, because you're building something that they will be able to take and move forward. You're building something in Africa where by others you'll be able to be, we always hear blessed to be a blessing. Well, you'll be blessed to be a blessing to yourself as well, and as extending it out to the community.
That's key. Very few people can go to Africa and get a job. That's another thing that we have to, no matter how qualified you are, And if you do get a job, most likely you're going to get a massive pay cut.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That is going to be difficult to even live on if you go by the African salary standard, you know, for your Western taste. So you got to go there with a job creation mindset.
Yes.
And there are so many challenges on the ground, and each challenge is a job opportunity, is a business opportunity, you know. And that's why we have to look at the underdevelopment of the continent as an opportunity, because everybody over here have skills. And then the other thing, you know, I've been moving around a little bit lately. I've been taking Ubers, and I'm long-winded, Empress Donyell, so I get it. You know, my African Uber driver, you know, I'm gonna start striking up the converse. You know, we reasoning. You know, we the reasoning by time I'm getting numbers, everything by time the Uber ride is done. That's how I move. You know, I don't know how to move any other way. But most of these Africans are telling me, yes, I have built my house. I'm sending things back. I see what's happening. I'm getting so this brain drain that's been happening for so long with Africans in the West. That brain drain is going to reverse very quickly, where a lot of Africans who are here now are going to be returning home to inhabit the that they've been building while they were a doctor here, while they were a nurse here, while they were driving Uber here, while they were a cook here. They were building their house. They were building a farm. The brethren that I rode with last night, he built a poultry farm. He's the Ethiopian. He had a poultry farm that he built, and he was telling me he has his house and everything outside of this. So you best believe right now people are making preparation. Africa is going to be bustling, because one of the things that's going to happen with this war, the Arabs and the Europeans are the two greatest funders of conflicts in Africa. The fact that they are now embroiled in this war, the resources that sending into Africa to fund those jihad movements and those rebel movements, all of that's going to get diverted to this war, which is spread through the Middle East and Europe and Asia, and going to give Africa some breathing room. You know what I mean? So we're going to see a golden age on the continent very shortly.
Except for here's the other thing. There's two points I want to make. The people resources. You got to have people resources.
Yes.
You know, they're on the continent. We also, and Africa has plenty. They're looking for you. They're waiting on you. And also another initiative that we have in Ghana, we're developing a community development and job creation center, where business owners will be able to come. You'll be able to come in. We can talk about what you need, help you get your land for your business and all of those different things. If you need employees, we want it to be, that center will be more or less like an employment office, so to speak. So you have a job you're trying to fill, we're going to post it. The community is going to be coming in and seeing these jobs, and we'll be able to say, okay, go talk to Quasi. You know, he's got such and such and such, and here's his phone number, here's his location. You know, those types of connections. Also, you mentioned that, you know, the jihadists that were being funded, they're going to be redirected elsewhere with those funds. However, you have the Arabs that are there, and they're trying to buy up everything. So our people have to come back home. We have to have our own land. We have to buy it. We have to have the businesses. We can't let them come in and take over our countries within Africa. We are the leaders coming back in. We are the business owners coming back in. We are the ones that we're going to have to take control and structure everything the way that the Father has set for us to set our own countries. You know, and our ancestors, they didn't let that stuff happen, and we can't let that happen either.
Beautifully said. And that's the whole allegory of Joseph going to Egypt. You know, we were sold into bondage, and then now we become that prodigal son coming home.
Yes.
That can really fill the gap and create the jobs, you know, because the governments in Africa can't create jobs quickly enough. That's where we come in now, that exiled, to come and create those, because Africa is a continent of youth. That's the next thing we gotta talk about. As you see, the human labor, it's all young people, vibrant, you know, life energy all over the continent. So you know, there's a beautiful workforce there for us to empower and not to gentrify. We want to integrate, and that is the key, I think, in terms of just making sure we come with the right mindset, the right tools.
Right.
So in terms of the hub that you're talking about, because you have a physical location, talk to us about the vision for the physical space that you have there that's going to be kind of a hub.
Yeah, we thought we were going to be able to start everything in January, but the tenant that had been in there needed more time to get out. So we'll be starting next month. We're starting to put our structures on that particular commercial property. It's a 5-year lease that we have on that property. Where we'll have the community development and job creation center, as well as some other different businesses and different things that people in the community will be able to come there and, pick up, groceries that they need to quickly grab a bag of rice or some frozen meat or, other different things we'll have on that site. I also have 2 empty slots. So if anyone wants a retail slot, I have it, but it's a 5-year lease that you'd be partnering with us on that particular property. You can get with me about that, and we can talk further about that. But yeah, that's the springboard. And then we'll also have community meetings where other business owners and will be able to come, and we can talk about some of the challenges we're facing, working through difficulties, so that there's a support system for everybody in a circle where we can say, okay, well, you don't know how to do that, let me help you with that, or you need employees, or whatever the case may be. And if possible, if we can be able to, we're still working out the logistics of whether or not we can bring in the funding piece of the business from America to here to Ghana, whereby we can use the funds to be able to help people with their businesses there as well.
Okay.
But right now, we're encouraging everybody to try to get this funding while you can, because before the banks tighten that purse up a little too much for us to get anything, they're already doing it.
Well, the money is not there. As we say, the system is collapsing.
Yes.
And also, we have to talk about, since this is a finance episode, we have to talk about the treasury bills, which are not being sold. China has been dumping their treasury bills. The 2 greatest holders of U.S. debt, Japan and China, have been easing off their treasuries. Both of them are buying gold, central banks. And what that means is that debt, those dollars are coming back home. They are becoming harder to sell. And so the bond market, the yield on the bonds, all of those things are impacted. That means that inflation, meaning that your dollar is worth less. So, and a good example of that is, back in the day when I was growing up, fast food to get a meal was $5. You get a burger, fries, and a drink.
Yeah, touch on that.
You know what I mean? Today that costs $15. The goods have not changed. The value of the dollar that you're using to purchase those goods has lost value, and so it takes more of your dollar to buy the same thing. So that's going to increase because of the quantitative easing that's been happening, meaning that the U.S. Treasury has been printing money. For those who played Monopoly, you know what I mean? It's like you go and you've been writing some money on the side and adding money to the game, some paper money, and everybody's been going with it. Then after a while, it's going to be worthless. So this happened in Germany. Where you had to have a wheelbarrow to buy a loaf of bread, of money, of cash. So this is we're headed in this direction now, which is why America had to go to war, secure itself in real terms, because you can't bluff your way out of not having money. You need to have the resources. So they're going out and taking what they need to preserve all of their global operation. So that's why, family, this reasoning is so important right now. And from your perspective, what are some of the money mistakes that families are making or individuals are making in terms of spending and money management?
Okay, one of the things that I'll add is to add to what you're saying, as far as the inflation, it's stagnation as well, which is causing the high inflation because of low economic growth. So that what that all means is your gas price is going up because of the war. Your food, it's going to be harder to, it's going to be more money to spend on your food and all of your different things that you're doing because of the oil and all of that, and that needs to be put into the ships, and the insurance policies on those ships have gone up if they haven't already canceled. There's to have that coverage, so everything is going up. So the thing that I would suggest is, don't, if you have the money, if you have it in 401k, you have it in your mattress that you have, you didn't put a little hole and stuff your money in there and sewed it up like some of the old Jamaican women used to do.
Yes.
You're gonna have to go and sew it. Go get that money, and you need to move it up out of here. That's
Yes.
do not go buy gold and silver, because if you're going and doing that, the government is already looking at that. They're looking at what you're spending your money on.
Yes.
Number two, if you have a whole bunch of money in your bank account, go get it out, because
Yes.
they're going to be sweeping these accounts and taking your money there too.
Yes.
So let me make that clear. They're going to sweep your bank account, possibly. They're saying, it's like possibly, but really that means hint, hint. Get your money.
Yeah, let's make sure we make that clear, possibly, so YouTube doesn't take me down for this information.
And possibly, you may possibly need to get your pension or your 401k, and you need to possibly take that to your house. And so you then be able to say, okay, at this time I'm going to invest it. I'm going to get my land. I'm going to consult with.
So transferring those assets into touchable assets, land, equipment, things that you can actually use to generate and to survive. I would say, make sure that you have your survival apparatus, whatever that looks like for you as an individual, because you cannot eat money, you cannot eat a 401k, you cannot translate these things into survival, so make sure your survival plan is not, I'm going to Trader Joe's and I'm waiting on my paycheck. And if that's your survival plan, that things are going to be as they are, that's not a good survival plan. So you need to every family out there who, I would say have a certain level of consciousness, because for some people, what we're talking about is doomsday nonsense, and they're going to continue to live how they live. We're not talking to them. You know what I mean? Because everybody is free to do what they want to do. But for those who have that little feeling in their gut, those who something is telling them something is wrong, something is not, your spirit is unsettled. For those people who feel that feeling, we're saying, start to divest from this system, and put your money into touchable things. If you have an acre of land, you have an acre of land. You know what I mean? If the system falls, you have that acre of land that you're on, you have fruit trees on that land, you have, you know what I mean? You can translate that into survival. You have a tractor or something to till the land, or you have, those are the things you want to put your money into right now, as well as building your brand, because commerce is still going to happen for a while. You know what I mean? It's not going to be as dramatic. That's where I draw the line. It's not going to fall overnight. You know what I mean? Commerce is still going to happen. Things are going to still move. So you can still build your brand, whatever it is that it is. And remember that the world is big. You know what I mean? So if you have a brand, there are going to be certain places that are affected more by the conflict than others. Certain places, like right now, if you live in Iran, the Armageddon has come to your doorstep. If you see the images in Tehran of the streets burning, they blow up some oil containers and the gas went in the sewer. So the whole street, both sides of the street, flames. You know what I mean? That's hell on earth. You know what I mean? That's real. If you live in Iran, the Gideon has come to your door. If you live in Israel and you're getting missiles every night, the Gideon has come to your door. If you're in Libya, in a village, you don't know nothing, not change. You know what I mean? You're walking up and down, you're doing what you're doing. So where you are on earth is very important as this plays out. You know, and this is one of the things I tell people. I was in Ghana during COVID, and I was in DC during COVID, and it was night and day. When I in the Volta region by Togo, you would never know that there was a global pandemic because people were just living, people were farming, people was abundant, the vibes was nice, no mask anywhere, people their lives. You know what I mean? When I came to mask up 6 feet apart, line up to go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? It was like tick in BC, and it was night and day. So when you habitate during this calamity that's coming on the earth, it does matter, family.
It does.
You know what I mean? The quality of life that you're gonna have if you're in one of these centers that's locked down and you can only leave your house at certain time and there's curfew. That's no way to live.
Right.
Opposed to you're in that place where you're watching that on TV and you're saying, wow, you know, that don't look too good. So I just want to encourage people to act and to take this serious, you know. Again, you know, Empress, we have been saying that on this channel forever. You know, we have not deviated and we have not been proven wrong. We've been proven right. You know, in terms of what happened. We didn't know the exact time limit, but no man knows the hour or the minute. But we know certain things are unfolding. We know they're going to lick down the mosque in Jerusalem. We know that. They're going to try to build a third temple. We know that. We don't know when. It could be tomorrow. And this is going to create a global Armageddon war. So we know that while that's happening, we should be rebuilding the alternative. We should be in our habitation fulfilling the prophecy. And this His Majesty was calling the world to do was to arm and to build a new world, and they totally have rejected, you know what I mean, his mission and his message. And so we have to take away ourselves. We can't be part of it. Come out of her, my people.
Yes.
That's what Revelation said. 18. Revelation 18 said, come out of her, my people, lest ye be partakers in her sins.
Yes.
Share in her plagues. So take that as you will.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not trying to convert anybody. We're talking to the choir here.
Yeah.
We're talking to the faithful here on the Lion Voice Network. So, come off of the fence. But give us some words of wisdom. Again, from AES Consulting perspective, give us just some things that families can do to prepare. And also, before they come to a consultation with AES, what kind of things do they need to get prepared to get the best and get the most from your services?
Well, I mean, the first thing that I would suggest, if they have funds that they can liquidate, if they have assets that they can, liquidate, let's do that, and then be able to have your money on hand. What we suggest is, if you have a minimum of 50,000, go ahead and get your land, and then we can help you to be able to know where your next steps need to be, so that you can be in preparation and moving forward. If you have 100,000, let's go ahead and get your house, get your business started. We'll help you with all those steps, and then show you how to make sure you're safeguarding your assets, and help you to understand how you can situate yourself, position yourself, so that you continue to have income coming in, and you don't have to really touch that savings that you're bringing with you to the motherland.
All right, I'm going to give you a hard question because you threw out some figures. What about Ras X, who has no funds, no assets to liquidate, but he's going to do his best to pull together 10 grand. Is there no hope for this Ras X? Or how would you advise Ras X, who did his best to put together a 5 grand, 10 grand?
Yes. what we can do, what in his case, what can be done is let's hold on to that 10,000. Let's see how much more you can come up with, because I don't want you to be put in a position where you would to be having to pinch off of that. Number one, you'd have to get a plane ticket to go, and that's going to go into those funds. Number two, you're still a little short from where you could possibly where you can get your land at the 15,000. So what I would suggest is that you keep pushing, get the other 15, get to the 15, and then the money for your plane ticket and be able to survive. Well, really, go ahead and get as much as you can. But as soon as you get the 15, go ahead and get the land. So you have your sovereignty, you have your land, so that the price doesn't continue to go up with so many people moving. You understand? Yes. So those are some of the, and then different strategies that I would have, because everybody's situation is different. So each particular consultation is not going to be identical in what do they call it, cookie cutter, for everybody. So it's based off of what you have, and I don't want to tell someone if they have 10,000 when they really need 15,000, because Africa's not cheap. The cost of living
you're not selling dreams. You're not selling dreams over there.
Right. I have to be realistic with you, because I don't want you to come and then you got to come back trying to come back and get this American dollar, because you're not situated properly. And that's not what we want for you. And that's not what you want for yourself. So I have to give you a number that you can stretch to and know, okay, I'm moving forward towards this, where I'm saying at least 50, because that's for a single person that's getting their land. And they may or may not know what their business will be, but at least they have their land and they can go jump in an apartment or a rental for 2 years and the rent would be like 3,000 to 5,000 for a 2-year lease. Mm-hmm. So if you at least have the money for your land, and you can either, if you don't have that total 50,000, at least you can have your land. I'll say that, and then just keep saving. And and then for the other people, the people in the back that we need to talk to, who are, like, I don't know, I want to build, Well, look what the Bible says, we're to build. You go back into the land and you build. So many people here have gotten here and other places, they've gotten complacent where they want ready done. Yes. Ready done is going to cost you much more money. And also, your ready done doesn't give others an opportunity for you to build something for yourself, where you're building something for your legacy, for your youth and your family, other family members, but then you're not having the sovereignty you need, and nor are you helping anybody else in the community.
Yes, that's a good point, because when you're building, you're employing people, you're building relationships. Oftentimes that's, you'll build a relation with the foreman, with the workers. This is how you learn the culture. It's a very good way to integrate yourself, or to start to integrate yourself forward in the culture, is being part of the build process, being on the ground, and interacting with all of the different aspects of building, and just meeting the personalities. Africa is still a very people-centered society. Relationships are everything.
It is, because if you want to make sure you're integrating into what's already there and enhancing what's there. You don't want to come in and be, have your nose in the air like, well, I'm good, I don't, what they're doing is below me. No, you don't want that, because you're gonna need them. Just like they need you. It's a one hand washes the other. We're brothers and sisters. We're not, you were born here, but you're still African. But you don't want to give that perception like I'm better than anybody. No. And then the other thing that I want to alarm to, flare the alarm for those that really don't, just kind of complacent. Oh, I got my 6-figure job, I'm good. Well, I was there too, and I've been out of work for a year, and I've been pushing my business. But I was out of my white collar job, that 6-figure job. Those are gone. And many of them left the third quarter of 2025. So if you still have yours, give thanks. But you got to be able to hold on to every dollar that you got right now, because you don't know when it's going to be taken, and you don't have your plan in motion. Get your plan going before you're blindsided.
Serious, and that's a good sound, because when they say they're getting rid of DEI, it's really a code word for they're getting rid of all the non-white employees for the most part. They're dropping these jobs. So a lot of particularly Black women have been impacted over the last 2 years have lost their jobs. This area that I'm in, the DMV, Washington, D.C., and Virginia, has been hit very hard, because a lot of those sisters were working with the governments, had very good, stable, six-figure jobs, or government contractors with stable six-figure jobs, and now a lot of them are out of work. So it's real out here. Preparation, she said, no less than 20 grand. That's what because I have to talk to my brethren. I know my brethren hear the 100,000 and they switch the channel right away. They didn't want to hear nothing else, and none that come forward. So I try calm them down. Start where you are, you know what I mean? And this may be the time that you have to get a menial job. You know what I mean? A lot of us have burnout Babylon job. You may have to find something that you can do, sweep the floor somewhere, do something where you can get a regular paycheck so you can stack those paychecks for the next 12 months. So you have the ability to put down that 20 grand and live the same way you're living now, do the same hustling that you're doing now, but you take on a job somewhere so you can stack that job. You know what I mean? So now is the time. If you got to work 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week, now is the time you got to do that, because this is not a fantasy, and it's not going to do it by itself. It's not going to cure itself. So no one is coming to save us. I keep saying that on this channel. We are the salvation that we have been waiting for. We are Rastafari. That is the revelation that Yeshua came to tell the world. And this is why His Majesty was the defender of the faith. It was that don't look for the creator outside of yourself. Emmanuel means God is with us.
Yes.
I mean, He has become flesh, and He walked among flesh, and you know what I mean? So it's I and I who are Rastafari to fulfill the work, the people. So we now have that responsibility to create that heaven on earth that has been prophesied. It starts internally within us, that inner peace, and then it becomes made manifest. Just like Psalms 9 tell you that the wicked shall be turned into hell. And we see the war that's spreading, the rider on the pale horse spreading hell wherever they go. And violence and torture and rape and mayhem. It's traveling with them, and I have traveled with that peace and that renewal, that rebuilding, that new flower, that is a baba, what a joy. So that being said, I want to just give you a chance to say your final word sound to the family. We're gonna have Empress Donyell forward again. She'll be a regular financial contributor. We'll bring her forward. She's also a pillar in our Lion Pride on Patreon. So just to show you the quality of people that we have in our monthly subscriber group, become a part of our monthly subscriber group and join our like-minded community. I have massive plans for this platform. We haven't even scratched the surface, but I see the vision of how we can transform the role of media within our community, and how we can use media to really be a transformative power. So join us on the journey. There are other platforms you can also support, so don't feel no way if you don't want to join this one. Find one you like and join. I don't take it personal. I have my tribe that we're building, and I'm fine with that. But I want everyone to be active. That is what I'm calling for. Wherever it is, join an organization, become active, pay your dues, invest, and let us build together. So give us some final sounds, Empress Donyell, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I want to close out by saying, not closing out, but we're moving forward. Yes. But be active and be proactive. Move in an urgency, not in fear, but knowing that your best is before you. When you start making the steps towards it, it'll start unfolding for you.
How do you feel about that advice that I gave, that some people may need to get a menial job? Do you think that's
yes
Good advice.
I mean, you gotta go where you can make money. I mean, if you're sweeping floors, if you're cutting grass, if you are braiding hair, whatever the case may be, anything you can do, any skill you have, use it. Any ability you have, use what you have. You know.
Because you can't come to Empress Donyell
You
without.
know, I also have one more thing. We have
Yeah.
a black collective forum where we're going to be, bouncing ideas around.
Okay.
It's going to be the second Sunday and the last Sunday of each month, and
Yes.
this is helping people to renew their minds because we've been so brainwashed,
Yes.
here. That we have to be able to reconnect with our roots. We have to be able to connect spiritually and all those good things. So we have that as well.
And also remember that Lion Pride and Patreon members have discounted rates to advertise. So anything you want to advertise on this platform, we give priority, and we make it work within whatever your budget is. And that's one of the benefits of being part of this community. We want everyone to win over here. Remember, we are at 47 in the Lion Pride on Patreon. We're the closest we've ever been to 50. I set my goal initially for 100. I didn't make it, so I put it down to 50. We're 3 people away from that goal. So I hope 3 people watching this. I'm not talking to the casual viewers. Big up on yourself. I'm talking to the Lion Pride members who are Article, Foundation. We need 3 of the items to step up becoming monthly subscribers so we can hit 50. We want to start our grant program in this month at our town hall meeting, and I'm going to announce the town hall meeting date this strong. We want to, this month, select someone that we can give a stipend to, and we can highlight their work. And again, as the channel grows, that stipend will grow. And this will be part until one day we can have a Lion Voice Network award ceremony, where we build it up and we have people come and we award all of the different workers in our community. I have a vision, Empress Donyell, but
yes,
we will start small, where we can award people and give grants, as not just an award, but the award comes with a grant, you know what I mean? So that they can further the work that they're doing. That's the long-term vision, but the short-term, we're going to start when we hit 50 people. So, and that's going to be $100 US every month that we're going to give to a worker in the vineyard. And it's going to be a democratic process where Empress Donyell, if she knows someone doing something, she can bring it to the table, somebody else, and we'll vote. People will give their presentation on why, and the collective will get to hear, and we'll vote by poll. And whoever wins, they will get the stipend. So please join us on that mission. Empress Donyell, it's been a pleasure, a joy. I love the urgency. I feel a kindred Iris. We're gonna reason with our Kingman next month. You heard his statement, so he's tapped in, and if the Kingman can get Empress Donyell, who was a preacher and to come to this majesty, the Kingman is heavy. You know the Kingman thing, the Nama. You know what I mean? I just see the smile of Empress Donyell, so she knows it's true. So we're looking forward to talk to the Kingman next month. Stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. The Lion Pride is growing. We hit 64,000 today. So big up everyone who has been spreading the word. Like, comment, share. This is more than a platform. This is a movement. Yes. And the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice. Highly.
Blessed love, this is Rashala representing for the Lion Voice. See? Yeah, man. Keep it locked right there, sir. Yeah. On to Zion we go. Lion Voice don't move slow, no. Rastafari rules and reigns, and we're going where the blessings flow. Keep it locked right there, sir. See? Rashala said that. Lion's Voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, come together. calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like Ital. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Donyell, and I young scientist. You're universally unfold, be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Racindio out of Belize, and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Racindio said that, blazing fire, lion boy.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the Lion's Voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the Lion's Voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the Lion's Voice. Raw.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice.